Man, I gotta fucking piss again. So it is a Cho mid. Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was gonna be like a turbo based Cho jungle. Kinda crazy to me that that's what they originally intended that champ to be played in. Alright. We have to update our G Fuel counter. We are now at 4 G Fuels.
Minions have spawned.
Cho early game is surprisingly very oppressive. So we want to be careful. Especially with him starting E. We're just going to avoid the poke. And I will walk up. Aw, that's rough. Nice. Alright, we have pretty good CS. I will say the one nice thing about fighting AP Cho is it is very easy to actually outscale him. Especially with the new Rokern item and AP item, or MR items, I mean. LDR and the such, it's pretty easy. I had a feeling I should just minion team at it. I could have got 3 minions so far if I just had attack speed stat. It's kind of an idea. I don't know. That I'm definitely not going to be a part of. Alright, he didn't TP, so we're gonna crash. At this point, it's too late for him. Yeah, he should have TP'd sooner. That dude really wanted to cancel my recall. One change that I've been doing is I've been running Control Ward on Z, which I've really liked, because it's the furthest key I could use that's away from everything else I use the most often. I had so many times I was just accidentally clicking Control Ward, like in lane. I thought Zed would be taking grubs. Want to be a little careful of Zed. He is very fed. That rhymed. I also want to be very careful because, yeah, they dropped Cho'Gath tremendously. Like, I kind of disagreed with the change. It seemed a little dumb to me. They changed it from 80, scaling to 60. He has 5 ability haste. Yeah, it's probably about 75-ish. Like, it's pretty brutal. It's pretty low. So, pretty much, unless Cho has just used it, play like he pretty much always has it, I mean. Huh. Procced on all. Apparently I actually don't know what Leona passive does. Probably would have been a little better if I recalled on a cannon wave. It's okay. I'd probably say normally it would be Cho favored. I'd argue it's pretty Cho favored. I feel like AP Cho is a little easier for Garen to deal with, but Tank Cho specifically, very, very difficult. I'd say he outscales you pretty hard. Whereas like Scion, yes, he infinitely scales in health, but I don't feel like he can necessarily outscale you. You buy an LDR and it still feels pretty free. Because his kit's decently weak. Cho's kit scales pretty hard, along with his health. What champs are worst against Garen? Like, worst as in for Garen, or worst as in, like, counters to Garen? Or, like, do you mean, like, what Garen counters, or who counters Garen? Probably who counters Garen. For me, personally, I've always felt like Alawi has been really brutal. And as I've gotten higher elo, Darius has gotten very difficult. I will say, if you are below, I'd say, I've only really ran into this problem in D3. If you're below D3, Darius is a very easy matchup for Garen. Because if Garen makes a lot of mistakes, it's very easy to abuse. But it also goes the same for Darius. If Darius makes a lot of mistakes, it's very easy to abuse. Who's Garen good against and also bad against? He is very good in, like, if you're picking him to counterpick, I'd say he hasn't always been the best against Jax, but I feel like now he counterpicks Jax pretty hard. It's pretty hard for Jax to play that. And Cassante, I'd say he's a pretty brutal counter to Cassante. Cassante's not really great in most matchups, though. I don't know, Cassante's kind of one of those champs that, like, he gets countered by everything, but also doesn't get countered by everything, if you know what I mean. Like, he's like the worst of his matchups are, like, a 6 out of 10 in difficulty, and I'd say Garen is one of those 6 out of 10. I feel like he's bad in low elo. Who, Garen or Cassante? Cassante. Cassante's bad overall, to be honest. I feel like that. I know there's this Cassante main who has got him to, I mean, single digits in rank challenger. I mean, it got it extremely high, but I feel like that's more so because he's a good player, not really that Cassante's OP. I don't know. I don't feel like his kit's super difficult. It's, for a tank it is. It's decently hard. But I don't feel like it's as difficult as people say. They're trying to argue it like, you know, well, if Zed had a flat 50% win rate, he'd be OP. Well, Cassante's not as hard as Zed. Kind of just stood there for a second. Oh man, I was only going for that because I wasn't going to go in, but because this Cho got another kill, I figured he'd have a bounty, but he didn't have a bounty. I just gave a 300 gold shutdown. It sucks. It's very bad. Death's Dance is extremely good here. They're pretty much all playing assassin champs. I play Shen sometimes, but I struggle to get good CS with him. I believe, I mean, I'm not a Shen expert, but I believe Shen isn't really supposed to get super high CS. Like XP2, he's an extremely good Shen. You probably know of him if you do play Shen. Most he really averages is like high 6 CS. Whereas like I'll average more like 7 CS and I'll peak at like 11 CS per minute. He's just definitely more trade focused, I feel like. Roam focused. What champs would you recommend for someone who plays in bronze? For top lane? I'd say Garen. I mean, yeah, I mean, Garen is, he's simple, he's straightforward, and there's not much else to him that's going to like severely complicate you. And also, I feel like a lot of what you can learn on Garen can be transferred to a lot of other champs. If he's just really not your champ, you don't really enjoy the style that Garen plays in higher elos, then like you don't have to play him. But you know, you could reasonably say like Malphite or Shen or Nasus, but I really don't think you can either climb to high elo with them, or that the macro you're going to learn on them is very useful with other champs. With Garen, a lot of the concepts you learn can be used with other champs. I play way too many champs to actually be consistent. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. I mean, I don't blame you. It's all about like why you play League, you know? If you play League to climb, then I'd recommend like you're retarded and you should definitely dumb down your champ pool to at max 2. But if you play League for fun, I mean that's totally based. you're better than most League players. And then keep your champ pool as wide and as fun as possible. Like, experiment, playoff meta. I used to be that person for like 5 years. Like, before I decided, yeah, you know, I kind of want to climb. And then I just stuck to Garen. Like, you don't need to climb. People overemphasize climbing. It doesn't really prove a lot either, trust me. I used to think Diamond Elo was like just the holy grail. Like, oh man, if I could get to Diamond, my life's complete. And then you get to Diamond, and then you're like, man, now this feels like the new Silver to me, you know? The new Bronze. Like, it just feels bad. Like, now, I want to get to Masters. Yeah, like, you want to achieve more. But the more that you achieve, the less great it feels, I guess. Like, I'm top, what, 15,000 players right now? That's really impressive, right? But to me, I don't know, it's just really not. My mentality has totally changed. Whereas even like Masters players, people shit on Masters players for being low elo. And now I'm like, alright, well, I guess I gotta hit Grandmaster or Challenger. And then I'll feel like I'm actually, you know, good. I don't know, I feel like that's a very consistent problem with people that start to climb to higher elos. Soon to be 2 years now. Like, yeah. I don't know. My problem with all that stuff is, I feel like at my 2-year mark, I just felt so upset at all the success stories of, like, these League players who have been playing for only a year, hitting Diamond, and then hitting, like, Masters the next year, and then hitting, like, Challenger the next year. I've always felt like, damn, am I really that shit? But the honest truth is, like, you're not shit. And the players that are doing that are usually very, very high-skilled players from other games. It'll be like, top 10 Dota player moves over to League, and then just automatically hits Diamond, and then hits Masters, and then hits Challenger. It's like, it's just not really fair to, like, compare yourself to that. And you probably don't do that, but that was something I struggled with at my 2-year mark, was like, I just kept comparing myself. It's just not really fair on yourself, though. Man, they got this whole place warded up. I struggled badly against Gwen top. Really? I never really had a problem with Gwen. I always felt like her kit was pretty easy to counter. Especially if they're competent. Well, I mean, if you're bronze, Maybe you are, maybe you're not. That's just because you were talking about bronze. I figure you are. If you are bronze, I feel like there isn't... Competence isn't really... I don't know. That's kind of insulting to say, but it's not really all there, I feel like, in bronze. It feels like it is, but like the players make so many mistakes every game. It's unbelievable. I get what you mean, lol. Yeah, like I don't mean to like completely shit all over bronze players. Yet again, I feel like just because I can closely relate with a lot of bronze players, because I was hard stuck for so long. It's just by far my worst compared to other champs. Yeah, I mean, everybody has like their own personal counters, to be honest. Like, my personal counter is definitely Alawi. It's so hard for me to fight Alawi. That did not hit. Just because I feel like I have to play the game so well in order to beat Alawi. Whereas I feel like she kind of just gets an auto win. I also play a lot of Juggernauts though, and that's kind of like... her entire purpose is just to counter those. I think that's worth it. Every person that doesn't get Baron buff, I feel like is a worth kill. Actually, that just took him off of it. What? Okay. Even better. Dang, Eclipse was the way. 1,000 damage block. That's brutal. I don't feel like we should be severely contesting this, to be honest. I will if we have to, but... I just joined the server. Ah, so you're that person. I might have to looks like Set actually recalled or started moving. Yeah, this kind of sucks for me. I kind of wanted to blow exhaust on him so I could swap to TP. I don't think it's smart for us to contest it anyway. We're playing way too aggressive over all these objectives for us being 7 to 19. Yeah, we just need to be playing for split and picks. Like that. That's super good for us. They completely split up right there. We shouldn't overcommit though. I'm just gonna keep pushing until someone tries to stop me, I guess. I assume Set's probably gonna be coming up here. Yeah. I don't know. I couldn't confidently say because I really haven't swapped regions, but from what I've seen, there's a couple notes, which is like EU West is largely overrated. They're not like amazing players. Korea does have amazing players, but it's a completely... Oh, this is a really interesting fight. It's a really different environment than pretty much every other region. Like in Korea, they play the game to end at like end the game at like 20 minutes. And that goes both ways. So if one team isn't completely stomping, they're probably just gonna FF. From streams and VODs that I've seen, like Korean players play very short bursts of games. Same thing in the super server in China. They very short games. It's not necessarily even that they have a bad mental. It's just that they're trying to get in the quantity of games, not really the quality. They'll FF really fast, just trying to get to the next. Yeah, we don't want to go super hard. I was just trying to get a pick. Man, this is gonna be a struggle. I think this should be easy to 1v2. Well, 2v1, I mean. With that, we might be able to look to contest. No, it's a bad idea. Oh. Yeah, if Kane's not going to follow up, though, I'm not going to do it. I really want to swap to Oracle. But then there's the other servers, like, I'd pretty much say, like, every other server... NA is pretty, toxic, I'd say. I've seen streams of EU West. I'd say NA is more toxic by far. I'd even argue NA is probably the most toxic region. Nice. Yeah, there's no world he should be fighting. We got his R out before drag. It might not have that long of a cooldown though. And then all the other servers, I'd just say that they're easy, generally, because there's just a lot less players. Like, Russia Oceania. They just don't really have the quantity of players to be deemed super difficult. I don't really want to get anything. I feel like the next fight... Yeah, next fight is either over Baron or Elder, and that's most likely going to decide the game. If we get Baron, we get Elder. If we get Elder, we get Baron. So I kind of want to save to get Elixir of Wrath, an item, and to pop Elixir of Force, and just be as strong as possible at that current moment, if that does happen. I don't know. We just keep fighting. It's really bad.
An ally has been slain. Enemy.
Was I silenced that whole time? Dang. Yeah. There wasn't a lot I could really do in that game, just because team kept trying to fight. Like, when you're... What were we, like 7 to 19 at one point? You really just need to be farming, splitting, and getting picks. But we kind of just looked to perma-fight, and it was not working. Oh shit. Favorite League streamers? In terms of like entertainment, I'd probably say Trick2G, The Bouse, and Tyler1 are all pretty entertaining. In terms of like actually helpful with like getting better at this game, XCM is good. Pretty much, I mean,